Welcome to Next Act Retirement and Travel. I'm Bob.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we have put ourselves in this old truck because we are going to a place called Yesterday's Memories and Truck Museum located in Sanborn, Iowa.
This is a surprising and incredible museum with over 375 antique or classic trucks and vehicles on display, and much, much more. Let's just get started with our tour. This is where we're at today, Yesterday's Memories and Truck Museum. It is huge. You can't imagine how big it is inside. Well, maybe when we go inside, you'll see just how large it is, and it has to be to store the amount of trucks and some cars that they have in here that they've collected. But what is interesting is while we were here, there's a group who's touring the country who came to stop at this place, and it's an antique car or classic car group who's driving around, and this group was from Texas in fact, but driving around the country looking and touring different things. So we're just going to walk around the parking lot and look at their cars too. This is not even part of the museum. It is just our own classic car show that showed up for us. And it must be a requirement for all of them to back in. That's probably car show style, right? Maybe if I go around the side of this building, you can see outside how deep it is. Let's take a look at that. Just look at how much square footage they have here. It's just quite incredible. And a few more classic cars were around the corner. This museum is the result of the dedication and passion of the Vanderhaeg family. John and Ruth are the senior generation. Ruth, who is 90 years old, came up to us at the museum and talked with us and told us about how all of this got started.
It is truly an amazing place. Sarah, let me interrupt you for a minute. Do you see all those trucks up on the balcony?
Uh-huh.
Wow, just look at all those trucks up there. We asked Ruth, how did you get those trucks up in the balcony? She told us the railings were removable, and so they were able to use a lift to raise the trucks and place them in the balcony. That is truly amazing. Wow.
Really cool. John's father started South Side Junkyard in Sanborn in 1939. The timing turned out to be unexpectedly fortunate, because with World War II kicking off in the early 1940s, there was a great need for scrap metal for the war effort.
John was always fascinated with his father's business, and he could not wait to return to the business after college and his service in the military. And as John took over this family salvage business from his father, he switched from salvaging of cars to salvaging of trucks. Eventually, the company would focus only on truck business, which included used truck sales, parts, service, and equipment.
The business is now called Vanderhaeg's Inc., and it is headquartered in Spencer, Iowa, but has 5 other locations around the Midwest. The 4th generation of Vanderhaegs are now working in this family business.
John and Ruth certainly have a passion for history and collecting history. I believe that Ruth told us that in their retirement years, the collecting for this museum really took off.
They love to collect trucks and motor vehicles, but also children's toys, household items, fuel pumps, and mechanical equipment.
The museum in this location started with one building that was purchased from the city of Sanborn, Iowa. And then in 1995, the museum first got its start. Building after building was added to this museum, so now it totals 150,000 square feet and includes 8 interconnected buildings.
They have done a masterful job of collecting vehicles that tells a story of over 100 years of America on wheels. Let's take our time and go through some of the museum and show you a number of the highlights. Here's another truck, 1916 Republic truck. (1921) a Samson cab over. This one's getting a little bit bigger here. Let's see, it's still a wooden cab. It's 1918 American 1-ton. Well, look, somebody's riding in this one. This is a 1916 Jeffrey 1.5-ton truck. It's a white truck. (1911) white 1.5-ton truck. Okay, this is a 2014 vehicle, IHC MXLT. Wow, it's big. Six-passenger truck. That's huge. Okay, back to the small old stuff. 1918 Selden Continental engine. It's a 1918 Garford 1-ton truck. Again, I think the cab is going to be made out of wood. 1936 fire truck. Here's a 1952 half-ton pickup. There's a 1946 Chevrolet half-ton pickup. 1939 GMC 3/4-ton pickup. I like this blue here. I'll judge them just on their colors. 1928 Chevrolet 1-ton. And over here, this red one is a 1929 Ford AA 1-ton truck. Now we have like a early panel van. It's Ford. It is a 1934 Ford panel delivery truck. Well, that's a lot of equipment to keep back there. This is a 1930 Ford Model A telephone truck. No wonder it has the kind of telephone-looking equipment in the back seat. It's a wooden box, wooden cab on this again. A 1923 Ford TT 1-ton truck. A 1929 Ford Model A with rumble seat. There's the rumble seat. It would be a tight squeeze for 2 people to be in the rumble seat. A 1955 Chevrolet 3200 half-ton pickup. And a 1954 Chevrolet half-ton pickup. Oh, it needs some work on it. Well, this is interesting. This is a 1919 Ford Model T concrete truck. You see that cement mixer on the back. A lot smaller than we have today, and the wheels on this truck have wooden spokes. This is a 1922 Krebs truck. They were made only from 1922 to 1925. There's all kinds of stuff in here on those walls. There's all kinds of collectible signs from mostly trucking and automobile industry. Well, here's sodas and other consumer goods. This building is also available to use for events. So they've kind of got a rec area here with memorabilia and collectibles, some recreation things. In the other room, you also see an area for organizations can rent it for meetings. Be a great place to have a meeting. There'd be lots of room for people to wander around and look at all kinds of fascinating things. Here's the meeting area up in the front. And they're using this flatbed truck here as a stage area. That's clever and cool. I've lost Bob somewhere in this museum, so we're just going to go ahead. We're kind of into the area where there's some really great antiques and old cars to look at, and we're going to walk around and look at those. Oh, I love this little kid's car here. It's a 1911 REO Model H Power Wagon. 1922 Ford Model T Opera car. Well, let's look at back here. It's got a back carriage for people to sit in. That's kind of, it's very decorative, and that's kind of cool there. It drives 40 miles per hour max, 2-speed transmission. Oh, and there's a fine lady getting ready to go to the opera. Okay, 1910 Maxwell Model AA 2-cylinder. This car costs $600 new in 1910. It's a 1912 Ford Model T, and it was used as a wrecker. Don't you love these old pumps? If you're old like me, you do remember getting gas from pumps that weren't digital, that just flipped the prices around as you pumped your gas. This is a 1932 Ford BB Truck Deluxe, and I think it has a wrecker on the back too. Oh, this must be the wrecker ensemble here, because here's a third wrecker, and this is a 1939 Ford 1.5-ton truck. Cab over in the front, you can see that. And this is a 1925 Model T Depot Hack. This truck was previously displayed at the Henry Ford Museum, and it was originally used to transport people and their luggage from the train station. Okay. Yes, definitely an airport shuttle, no, train shuttle here. People could ride in here, and there was room for the luggage back there. All wood cab on that. And this is a 1937 Packard 115C Business Coupe. Very elegant. Yeah, she would be a very elegant, esteemed businessman driving around in that. It's a 1968 Chevrolet C10 1/2-ton pickup. And a muscle car here. 1974 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am Coupe. Oh, this is interesting here. We have a Yellowstone bus. 1925 white manufacturer 12-passenger tourist bus. And these were used in Yellowstone and other parks. 1963 Chevrolet Corvair ramp side. This is a Dodge here. You know, here are some older vehicles back here too, but let's check out the yellow one. 1918 Pierce Arrow 2-ton lumber truck. Okay. And I want to say that the steering is on the right side and not the left side. 1918 International dump truck. Still a wooden cab. Now this red and black one is a 1922 arm lader, 1.5-ton dump truck. 1948 Studebaker M16, 1946 Nash. The Studebaker and the Nash look very similar. This is a 1917 GMC 2-ton farm truck. Look how narrow that truck is. It's maybe 6 feet wide in that cab. This is a 1930 Ford Model A Roadster pickup. Yes, okay. It looks very fancy from the front, like it might be a very fancy car, but it is a pickup. It's a 1916 Hawkeye. They're only built for about 18 years in Sioux City, Iowa. It's a 1926 Ford Model T truck. And here's a 1915 IHC high wheeler EX. Yes, okay, very high wheelers, but narrow tires. Look at that. And look at the narrow tires on the one next to it. Okay, some nice cars here. I love this hood ornament of like a duck. 1932 Ford Deuce Cabriolet. That's a beautiful car. Oh, and look, the small children are riding in the back. Here's another beautiful car. Bob is here with me somewhere, but I've lost him, so he'll have to catch up with me. We're going to head upstairs here, and as you can see here, if you have mobility issues, there is an elevator to give you access to the upper levels. It's a McCormick Deering truck. Here they have like a community area set up. You can see the bank, make a deposit, get some cash. Post office. Barber shop. And I guess if you need a quick bath, there's one for you. Original Buster Brown display towel there. Look at that hair dryer. You'd almost be afraid to put your hair underneath it and start on fire or something. Soda fountain. This room is the 1896 room. Beautiful dress, wedding dress, and the kitchen. This was the Vanderhaeg family kitchen, the way it was in the 1940s and the 1950s. We have an ice box, pantry cupboard. Look at the flour sifting mill back there. Corn cobs for the corn cob stove. There's some older scooters, and now you see kids and adults riding around town on those electric scooters. Look at this large area of small collectibles and toys, and we're just going to walk through and see what we can see. The kids of the yesteryear must have had great fun with these little pedal cars. You just can't imagine. I mean, I'm giving you a running shot at all the collectibles and antiques in here, but there's so much more. And they have these cases kind of divided up in categories or based on maybe who donated them. Like this shelf here is Sanborn Savings Bank, so there's collectibles from that bank, but that's the kind of way these shelves are all going. They're sort of grouped together, but who donated them or where they came from. And what's kind of nice in here, as you can see, they all, even with the larger trucks and everything, they have everything labeled like this says it's a 1931 Ford Model A. I mean, so they've gone to a ton of work to make sure everything's really labeled well in here as to what it is or who it was donated by. Okay, not to get too personal here, but there's a child's toilet seat. Isn't that just darling? Very interesting. This treadle sewing machine is almost identical to one that I have. When I was 8 years old, well, and each of my sisters too are 8 years old, we would determine that we would learn how to sew, and so our grandparents would bought us, well, find at a household sale, a treadle sewing machine, and we were turned loose to learn how to sew. Well, folks, that's who we've been missing. Bob's back with us. And over here, just more household good and food things. Okay, one of my favorite candy bars down there. There's the old Twin Bing. It's made in Sioux City, Iowa. Okay, here is something we should take note of. It is a 1980 commuter car, electric car. It was made so you could drive to work and back. And it was owned by somebody locally here who owned an electrical business. So I guess having an electrical car was a natural thing for them. And look where we are now in 2025 with all the electrical vehicles on the road. They even have an old-time shop set up in here with things used in the shops of yesteryear or even the blacksmith shops. Here, Bob's going to show us the Sleighs here. They're very nice. Been restored. Velvet cushions.
They're sleds. Even Santa would be proud to
Yeah,
ride
there you
in.
go. It's 1870 to 1880 Portland cutter sleigh. And this is also a one-horse
Open
sleigh, just like it says in Jingle Bells. Before we finish up, Bob wanted to take me to show me this yellow convertible that he found quite interesting, and I'm going to let him tell the story about that.
This yellow Oldsmobile convertible is absolutely beautiful. Now, the story of how John acquired this vehicle is very fascinating. In 1972, there was a huge rainstorm and flood in Rapid City, South Dakota, and it caused a dam to breach and to be broken, and it caused a tremendous flood in downtown Rapid City. As a result, over 235 people sadly lost their lives. In the aftermath and the cleanup of Rapid City, John went there and he found many vehicles to purchase and to haul back to Iowa, including this beautiful convertible that was new and was floating in the car dealership. John bought it for a good price, brought it back to Iowa, cleaned it up, and it became their family vehicle. They even used to drive their children to school in this vehicle.
There's also a model train display in one area of the museum, but we're not going to show it to you in this video. Next week, we'll be releasing a special video that just shows this model train display. So if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button and notifications so you can be ready to watch our next video on this train display.
Thank you so much for joining us on this fascinating tour of the Vanderhaeg's Yesterday's Memories and Truck Museum. The size and the amount of displays contained within this museum is just massive and absolutely incredible. If you are a lover of classic trucks and cars, of antiques, or even items from days gone by, this museum is the place for you.
On this channel, Next Act Retirement and Travel, we share our land-based sightseeing adventures. To help you find what you'd like to see, we are grouping our videos into playlists. This video will be placed under the Midwest Traveler playlist. We'll put a link to the museum in the description below.
If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe. And if you would like to share any comments, you can leave those below. So we say now, until next time, goodbye.